So what type of ads are better? From Dallas, the latest from our daily newsletter at podnews.net.
It may be that the live host read is the most effective way to welcome the brand into a space, whereas the announcer read ad might be more efficient, may even deliver features and benefits more consistently.
Tom Webster at Podcast Movement. Live host-read ads perform the best, but well-produced scripted or programmatic ads work almost as well, he says, in a new piece of research called After These Messages. Webster suggested to use both live reads and announcer-read ads throughout the course of a campaign. The research is available to download. Libsyn will today be announcing a new programmatic ad solution for Libsyn-hosted shows. The beta program for Libsyn's auto ads, which allows pre, mid and post-roll, is now open for application. Additionally, the company has announced it's made more than $50 million in advertising earnings for podcasters. The Podcast Broker, a new service for buying and selling podcasts, was launched at Podcast Movement. The service is the brainchild of True Native Media's Heather Osgood and aims to make it easy to buy and sell podcasts, just like you would trade any other business. I'm an advisor. NPR has announced that more than 20 of its biggest podcasts are now available on YouTube. It's on the heels of a quiet launch of a new podcast section in YouTube in the US. Spotify and Archwell Audio have released the highly anticipated original podcast series Archetypes with Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. The first episode and trailer are available now. The show is produced by Gimlet. If you're heading to Podcast Movement, Apple Podcasts want to help you get the most out of your Apple Podcast Connect account. You can sign up for one of their one-on-one sessions in a link in our show notes and our newsletter at podnews.net. Would you rather the Spotify podcast playback experience was a little cleaner? Willing to Podify today, a third-party Android app for Spotify podcasts, which uses the Spotify API to access the shows you listen to. You still need the Spotify app installed, though. Odyssey is now using Sounder as the company's brand safety partner. Diversion Audio has announced a new slate of talk and fiction podcasts. AdLarge has signed Girls Next Level to their network. Adweek has announced a full slate of new and returning podcasts for quarter 3. She Podcasts and Podbean are to host a live panel on September the 9th, focusing on supporting more women and marginalized genders to get involved in podcasting. The Afrozen Audio Podcast Festival is to return for its 4th year in Philadelphia on October the 22nd and 23rd. And Dino Sophos is interviewed by Deadline, appearing in a story with the longest headline ever published. He's talking about The News Agent, the new daily news podcast from Global. And in podcast news, Code Story is kicking off season 7 of its podcast, interviewing startup builders themselves about the human stories of creating something from nothing. Ugly Things magazine, the ultimate rock and roll read, is now a bi-weekly podcast. Ugly Things launched yesterday with guests like The Trogs and Lenny Kaye. It's an adaptation of the long-running print magazine, which covers the obscure and overlooked music of the 50s, 60s, 70s and beyond. And Beneath Our Feet is a new 6-part audio drama series about community resistance, myths and vertical cities. Beneath Our Feet is a drama about communities under siege, be it by gentrification, climate collapse or cultural erasure. It launches today and it's funded by Arts Council England. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe, we're at podnews.net.